let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Mama, please don't worry about me. 'Cause I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Back and forth with the bullshit. I know I said it before, I don't mean it. It's been a while since I had your attention, so it might hurt to hit it. Dreams we had don't ever fall away. We can't leave them if we stay the same. And I can't do this for another day. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Oh yeah.
Sometimes the bomb might explode without any warning.
Good morning and happy Wednesday! We're raging a little bit this morning. We had to get the vibes up. Sorry for the delay. We had a little bit of a I don't know if you want to call it technical difficulty, but we had a little backup log going on with the program this morning. But we're here, we're live. It's Wednesday, it's Gap Wedge Wednesday. We have a few things to talk about before we get into it. We had another beautiful day down here in sunny Florida. Our pool is finally fixed and able to lay out, but there's other things going on in Florida that just seemed a little crazy to me. Jeffrey, how are we doing today? I understand that you had a pretty eventful evening, shall we say?
I don't know about eventful. I mean, it's pretty normal, but yeah.
Not according to the three-time. The three-time said that not only were you in rare form, that you were in such form that you said that you needed it because you hadn't gone out like that in a while. Care to rebuttal?
No, I got nothing to say. It's good to be here this morning. It's good to be here and alive, and yeah, it's good to be here. It's a pleasure. Got a chance to play a little bit of poker last night after I got off work. Hang out with my good friend Sam Trask, which
Really?
Yeah, those times go.
I didn't know that Sam Trask was your good friend.
Good buddy of mine, Sam Trask. What do you mean?
We're talking about the guy that used to bartend with us?
Yeah, of course. Sam.
Didn't realize that you guys were so tight.
So I had a good time with him, and then ended up, going home and sleeping and slept through my alarm, and unfortunately I was a little late to the show today. So
that stuff happens. I mean, we're just happy that you're here, alive, breathing. We had a little over under on what the actual appearance was going to be this morning, and I think we were all pretty excited with the way that you showed up today, looking pretty good. But as a man as handsome as you, it's pretty tough to wake up and appear to be anything else. I know that the older ladies out there are probably going to be a little disappointed that the hair's not flowing today, but ladies, stay tuned. Hopefully Friday will be better, and that's why we tune in every week to see what is going to happen with Mr. Jeffrey.
We'll be locked in on Friday. Friday will be a great show. Football Fridays. Gap Wedge Wednesday cannot come soon enough today. I will tell you that right now. As somebody who is struggling with all my faculties and, just brain power right now.
And for those of you out there that are already tuned in and listening, first of all, thank you very much for tuning in today. We really appreciate it. Second of all, we'd like your help for something here. We'd like to help your help in naming our Friday show. It could be Formula Football Fridays. It could just be the Triple F. It could be a lot of different things. I don't really appreciate Jeffrey just jumping on here and shaking his head no at certain things right off the bat. It could be Football One Fridays. There's a lot of different things that we can incorporate these two big events in for our Friday show. So, yes, we'll be back with that. And, of course, we'll recap at the end of the show what to preview for Friday.
I didn't realize that Formula One was such a big part of our show, but that's fair. I do appreciate the time that you put into your Formula One segment.
There's actually a lot of listeners out there, at least 3 of them that I know, that tune in for Formula One. And as the sport continues to grow, us here at the Uninformed Fan will continue to be ahead of the curve and to provide the content that is needed for the people.
I love that. Love that for us. Great.
So let's dig into it. We got a few things going on before we get into the Gap Wedge Wednesday. First of all, Dave Portnoy coming back from the dead to revive Barstool Sports, taking it back over. I tried to trade Penn stock today. It was a piece of shit today as well. Disney bouncing around. A lot of things going around. DraftKings up and down. It was just a weird segment today. But I did watch the press release from Davey Portnoy, pretty much saying to your point what we put on there, because as I said, he did get it back for pretty much nothing, if nothing whatsoever. He did sell it for whatever, $600 million, so he's taking it back. But if there's any clause, now I understand the clause if he sells it. And I know I did watch his emergency press conference on the toilet this morning where I realized that he said that he will never sell it. He will just continue to pass it down, which is one thing. The one thing that really kind of threw me for the curve was the monetization, right? So if Barstool makes money, then Penn is up to, able to get up to 50% of the gross revenue. And then my point is, doesn't Barstool already make money, or are they just going to continue to take salaries to where that bottom spreadsheet equals zero? I'm a little confused on that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. But the way that I read it was that, and I interpreted it, was that Barstool would, as long as Barstool didn't make money off of the gambling portion, right? So as long as Barstool
okay.
didn't have a sports book that was up and running, that would be the monetization of it. As so, from what I read from Dave, is that Dave just wants to make it strictly content, strictly anything that you want to say, pretty much goes. People who got canceled, like Ben Mintz, who was really good as well too. Poker guy, he was all over the place in Barstool, and he was reciting rap lyrics live on air, and Penn made them fire Ben Mintz because he said an inappropriate word in the rap lyrics. And so, like, different things like that would, like, where Portnoy would normally just be like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that was one thing I did see.
I think that's one of the reasons that he wanted it back so much, is that like he wants to be a content machine. If he interviews Trump, he doesn't want anybody to say anything about it. If he interviews Biden, he doesn't want anybody to say anything about it. Like, he just wants people to do whatever he wants to do. Continue to make money, continue to do pizza reviews, continue to push out content, and just have it how he wants it. So that's from what I understand.
Good morning, Marcus. Good to have you in the show here, buddy.
What up, Buff?
Yeah, that's exactly the same way that I saw it. When I watched the emergency press conference, that's what he said. Unfortunately, when you get in with Penn, and he said he had nothing but great things to say about Penn. He owns a lot of Penn stock. He's still going to keep it because he thinks it's going to go up. Obviously, when you get an opportunity to partner with Disney and ESPN to get gambling in any shape or form part of ESPN, you need to jump at that 100%. And then to your point as well, it takes the cuffs off of Barstool because there was a lot of politically correct stuff that they had to do, a lot of stuff that they couldn't do because they were tied to a funded gambling segment that has a lot of money and a lot of impact. And if they're losing the Barstool app and the Barstool gambling portion, I say that's an absolute win-win because I don't think that they were making any money off that anyway. It's the same thing as DraftKings, FanDuel, who continue to lose billions of dollars, is, that segment and the way that they offer those types of things with the parlays of, the props and stuff like that. I mean, you're basically giving away money at that point. Then you look at all of the offers. Just like I said, I went to Chicago for 3 days. They had $1,000 buyback. If you bet 1,000 to lose, they're going to give you another 1,000 down. Okay, I'm in Chicago for 2 days. I set up my account, put a parlay in, won $1,800, cashed it out the next day, and left. I mean, now granted, most people, aren't going to do those types of things, but the degenerate gamblers are, and you're basically just giving away free money. But yeah, it seems like I said, I was concerned about the monetization, but now that if it's part of the gambling, and honestly, I don't think Barstool on its standalone could support that as well. You need a lot of money to be able to do something like that as far as a nationwide sports book. So I look for that to go away. Then absolutely back to it. Then, just keep passing it down and then you never have to sell. And even if you did, you're not going to get 600 million for it again. I'll tell you that. You might actually. I take that back. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. You never know where it's going to go. But even if they sold it for $1 billion, Penn State would be entitled to 500 million, and therefore that still doesn't equal the price that Davey already got paid for it.
Yeah, and shout out to Dave. I mean, if you can say whatever you want about Dave, and obviously there's been allegations thrown around about him, which he's pretty much stood up to and never been convicted of anything. But I'll say this about Dave. If you look at what he did for small businesses over the pandemic, and if you look at the kind of dude that he has been for those places, those pizza places, those mom and pop shops, those places that were struggling to be open because of COVID rules and because of different stuff like that, the way that he supported them is second to none.
Absolutely.
He
Nobody else did that.
No, he took it upon himself. He literally bullied celebrities into being a part of this. And forever, as somebody who has worked in the restaurant industry for upwards of 17, 18 years now, I will forever respect Dave Portnoy for that. And that's something you can never take away from him. And it was completely a charity, everything that he did. And so shout out Dave Portnoy. Very happy for you, bro. Like, literally, like, couldn't be happier. I'm glad that Barstool's going to be back in the content business in terms of not that they've left, but in terms of driving home those points.
Well, they weren't able to do what they normally do. They had the kid gloves on, and the kid gloves are off. And just to wrap that up, to your point, what impresses me about Dave Portnoy the most is he knew what he wanted from an early age, and he was driving around vans, passing out newspapers and stuff like that. And I've always thought that, and I can't remember what else when me and my wife were watching Suits, and we were talking about I think it was either Lewis Litt or maybe even Jessica Pearson when they were doing a flashback, and she was just a young. I think it was one of the girls. She was just a young girl at like 10, 12 or something like that, and she knew exactly what she wanted to be. She wanted to be a lawyer. Yeah. She wanted to be a manager, and I always have a lot of respect for that because I've never had that drive to say this is what I wanted to be able to put that focus, to know what you want to do in life, to be able to put your heart and soul into it, continue to focus on that, to make it successful, and to make it into what he is. I mean, that's just absolutely great. That's the American dream. Shout out to Davey Portnoy, Barstool Sports. You guys are doing some great stuff out there. We're looking forward to the real Barstool standing back up and getting back into there and seeing some controversial tweets and some stuff going on.
And even to the point of him, starting the Barstool newspaper and having smoke shows of the week and different stuff like that they would put out. But he was literally, they had like 4 different writers, but he was every single writer just under a different surname. And that's how he like try to get credibility and put content out that, he wanted to be credible in terms of, we have this many writers on staff, but they're literally all him. He's just writing in different genres and forms. So I thought it was great.
Another little controversy happened down in Alabama as I watched Forrest Gump last night. And let me tell you, before we get into Montgomery, Alabama, let me tell you a little something about Greenbow, Alabama. Okay. The more, Forrest Gump is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. And the more I watch it, the more pissed off I get. You know what? Fuck Jenny. All right. Fuck you, Jenny. It amazes me that you continue to shit on this man throughout his entire life. And then when you figure out that after all of your whoring, which, by the way, you slept with him, got knocked up with all of your whoring, who knows what type of disease you had at the time. And then who knows if you got the disease after you whored again? Who knows? All right. But then you come back once you realize that you're sick, presumably with AIDS. Because that's what we're going to say it is, because, they didn't really want to go into what it was. We're going to say it's AIDS. Then you come back and hit the man up. Hey, by the way, you have a kid that I never told you about, that you haven't been in his life for however old he is, 8 years. You missed all of that stuff. But hey, by the way, I'm going to probably die. So can we come live with you? And then can you take care of the kid that I refused to even tell you that you had while you're running back and forth across the country like a dumbass? And then I die. Fuck you, Jenny. That's all I have to say about that. Now back to Montgomery, Alabama. So there's some viral videos going around of this incredible brawl down by the docks in Montgomery, Alabama. And I saw the little clip of it this morning, again, after the press conference, watching, doing my morning movements and getting the little clips here and there. And I saw, a bunch of white guys beating up on this bigger black guy. That's where it started. I didn't get the whole preface. And, immediately I said, well, there's a lot of pussies in here that once this guy went down, now all of a sudden they want to jump in and try to throw a punch. And I looked around, I'm like, the brigade is coming at some point. There's no way these guys are going to get away with this. Okay, and I don't know if you've ever been to Montgomery, Alabama, but it's an interesting place. I played at a golf tournament there. Interesting place. Very redneck, very southern, and there's a good presence of both ethnicities or whatever. I can't even say it today. But I was just waiting for it, right? And that was the end of the clip. And then I got onto the pre-show here, and you guys were like, whoa, there's so much more to this. And then I brought it up and looked. The clip that I saw over here was Black Aquaman jumps off boat to save security guard. and I look over here, and apparently there is a ship coming in. Jeremy, actually, can you unmute? I'd like to get a neutral perspective on this before we.
Neutral? I'm not neutral.
No, you're not. Before we get into this, and you seem to have the most knowledge about this video. Are you there, good sir, Mr. Three Time?
I am this morning. Good morning, boys.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you give us the backstory on how this started? Before I break down what Black Aquaman did here, and then how Hacksaw Jim Duggan brought in the folding chairs into the ring later.
The story is that a group of people tied up their pontoon boat to a dock but they were not allowed to do that because that is where the Harriet II, which is a paddle boat, which is very well known in Montgomery, Alabama. It's they use it for parties. You can take it out. They have like little tours that they do. It was coming in, and it needed to use that dock. It's a very large paddle boat, and these guys had tied their boat up, and they were going to do stuff on dry land, and they got told you can't do that, and they said, nah, F you, whatever. So then the worker who was trying to get the boat in apparently tried to untie their boat. That's when they got mad, and then 3 of them jumped him. And then they, as the old phrase goes, they fuck around and found out why you don't do that.
Correct. So let me first of all say the initial clip, and if you haven't seen it, please do. If I had the technology to show this and be able to go back and forth and be able to hold this video while keeping your attention, I absolutely would, but I can't.
You can't share it?
I can, but I can't pause and come back to it. You know, it's a little different here. Let me see if I can. You know, at least I can do is this.
There we go.
Now, I think if I... All right, so at least I have this over here. Okay, so this is where it starts. Oh, wait, this is this gallery, though. I need the...
Yeah, what do you...
I need the video here.
Just go to Twitter, bro. Go to Twitter and type in Montgomery Brawl.
I have it right here. Oh, here we go.
Ooh, that burrata pizza looks pretty good. Dude, so V's Pizza is pretty good, actually. Just wanted to say that.
All right, so we're going to go back here real quick.
Riveting. And personally, I mean, I saw this happen. I can't believe you just saw it happen because it was super viral.
Well, I tend to limit myself here, so let's see if we can get this to play. Okay, here we go.
Okay, this is like the later part of it, right here.
This is where Hacksaw and Jim Duggan comes in.
Yeah, this is the woman's trying to get him out of there, and then it at a certain point.
This is what I'm talking about. See, if I go over here to try to adjust it so I can get the freaking volume on, it stops streaming. And then I have to stop over here. Now I have to go back over here. Now I have to click this again. And now I have to click it over here. And now I don't have sound again. But anyway, you can see the video.
Don't worry about the sound. All right. This guy's trying to gouge this other guy's eyes out. This lady's trying to get him off. All of a sudden, there's fists being thrown everywhere. These guys are all beating her up. Now the lady's getting jumped. Now this is where
if you look over the top right, you'll see Hackjaw Jim Duggan right here with the chair to the head. Boom, boom.
This is where my opinion kind of shifted a little bit.
And then this is the worst one right here. Boom.
I mean, come on, bro. You're going directly to jail, like
right in front of the cop.
What you're doing, dude? Like I understand. To me, that's just egregious.
Well, oh God.
I think it's terrible, personally. But who am I? Who am I?
This is what to answer your question here. What is that?
What if it was the other way around?
Well, let me tell you, and this might be.
What if it was the other way around? What if?
Are you gonna let me finish, or are you just gonna keep cutting me off?
Go ahead. I'm a little.
You asked what this is. Okay, this is suppressed rage. This is suppressed rage from every incident that has happened to that man throughout his entire life. That whether or not it was a racial issue, whether it was the person that cut in front of them at the checkout line, whether it was the stupid shit that his wife said to him 15 minutes earlier, this was just suppressed rage, and this man saw an opportunity to let out said rage, aka just like the purge, right? This was this man's purge. He found a chair and he's like, I've seen WWE, I've seen WWF, I know these people. Rey Mysterio, the Ultimate Warrior from the top rope, head to the chair.
This white lady's trying to break it up for her husband. She's getting jumped by 3 people. Comes out left field of the chair.
So So we debated on whether or not we're going to show this over or and talk about this. And let me tell you right now, folks, this is why Jeffrey didn't want to show it, right? And for obvious reasons, you just add fuel to stupidity. But I wanted to bring this up because I think this is a classical example. Now, let me also back forth, so like we were talking about. So originally, this man came down, a black man. Since we're gonna just obviously do this white black crap. So a black man comes down and says, "Hey, you can't park your boat here." You got 4 asshole people that are drunk coming off a boat that say, "We're parking our boat here. Don't give a fuck what you say." And the guy's like, "Bro, you got to move your boat." So apparently he does go to untie their boat and like move. The boat's coming in. Okay, so either you move your boat or the boat could just clip you, whatever. Obviously, we know that's not going to happen until one of them just decides, you know what? I'm going to fight this guy because he asked me to move my boat because I'm in the wrong. Now, if that doesn't click in your brain, the idiocracy that is in this world today, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So then once this guy starts fighting this other guy, it was pretty much a one-on-one for a little while. Then all of a sudden, Jimmy Superfly Snuka comes flying out the back and flies and hits him. And now we go down. Now it's 2-on-1. And then all the other white pussies decide to show up and say, "Hey, the guy's down. Let's punch him now that I have no repercussions whatsoever." And while I'm watching this part, I'm thinking, the brigade's coming, man. There ain't no way this shit's going down like this. And lo and behold, then of course we get Black Aquaman jumping off the cruise ship to jump over and help it, and rightfully fucking so. You guys are idiots, man. And then of course, we get into this thing, and then this is when the total societal structure breaks down. Right after this, because then nobody knows how to control anything because you got 5 idiots over here that are doing the wrong thing. Right. So then you got another boatload of people that are coming over to protect the guy that was getting jumped by 5 people for trying to do his job. And then all reasoning goes out the window. Now we're teaming up on everybody. Now we're, like I said, we're bringing chairs into the mix. We are literally just society, bro. Where are we at in this world? I don't know. When I see stuff like this, I don't see it as black and white. I see it as a bunch of fucking idiots is what I see. And, it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. That's, and, to Jeff's point, regardless of what you think about race or anything of that nature, it goes both ways. There's a racist on both sides. There's plenty of black people that would love to just beat the shit out of a white person just for the simple fact of it, and the same way around. And it's absolutely asinine. You're not going to change these people. They're just ignorant people. Okay. But when you take a chair to a lady that's already down
on the ground getting stomped out
in front of a cop, you have lost all sense of reality, my man. I mean, once the cops, come on, it's fighting 101. Once the cops show up, you're involved in mob action at this point. There's more than 15 people there. I don't know what the exact terminology is. Jeremy, maybe if you could look that up. But I think you're involved in mob action at this point. Put the chair down and fucking stroll away. With me. I don't know, man. I mean, what a world we live in, man. What a world do we live in? Speaking of more stupid shit, I think we have a theme of this show. Stupid shit in America. We have Kevin Brown from the Baltimore Orioles, who was suspended and or removed from his announcing position for saying that the Orioles suck against the Rays. And he didn't even use that terminology. He just brought up a graph that his producer had already made up for him, showing how they'd been 0-15 in the series leading up in Tropicana Field. However, they had clipped a couple games here back and forth. And then, you know what? The Baltimore Orioles say, you know what? We don't want you discussing how shit we've been over the years. Just get out of here.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And you know what? I watched the clip, and when I watched the clip, I watched it and I go, that was a great open. I don't understand.
It was a planned open.
Context, it was amazing. He spoke clearly, intellectually. It was fantastic. And I was like, what did he get suspended for? And then I read the story that he got suspended because he was talking bad about them. And the Baltimore Orioles are such a feel-good story this year. We mentioned them in preseason baseball before the season started in our opening breakdown about how fun they are going to be. They're going to be the team that everybody rooted for because they were going to hit a bunch. They're going to be great. They're going to be electric. Baltimore's back, blah, 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 blah. You know, the pitching aspect might be a little bit shaky, but they're going to be the most entertaining, fun team to root for. This like takes you the other opposite direction. Like it's almost like you dislike the organization for the way that they're treating them. And you know, listen,
I think the perfect quote that comes with this.
Say,
go ahead.
You know, God hates sports up there in that region of the country. But
well, I think the Baltimore Orioles just said our feelings don't care about your facts. Hey, bro, our feelings don't care about your facts. You're fired. And, you know, to my point is, like I said, this is a planned segment. You know, producers just don't come up with graphs on the fly.
No.
This was something that was planned. So if he goes, the entire production staff should be gone as well, whoever did this. And I know it's just a suspension or whatever, but, you know, I thought was even more is they doubled down on it. After the outrage, after they said, you know what, this is ridiculous, between sports announcers across America, between everybody, they said, this is outrageous. And then they said, if you wear anything in our stadium that says free Kevin Brown or have a Kevin Brown sign, you will not be allowed in the stadium whatsoever.
Weren't they chanting his name last night?
So they were chanting free Kevin Brown in the middle of the broadcast, and the two broadcast announcers just, you know, they have their muffs on. They're acting like they don't hear it, and they just continue to just glaze right over it and move right on. It was absolutely adherent, but yeah. What a world, huh? What a world.
Tough. It's a tough one.
We're gonna get. I hope Ian is, you know, on the be able to watch the recap because we are going to touch on his Commanders here in a second. But
what happened with his Commanders?
Oh, we're going to get into that. But first, I want to talk a little bit about Colin Cowherd and his stupid remarks.
Wow, terrible.
And first of all, let me also say, dear ESPN, I know that you guys got a lot of money, but if I'm watching a 15-second clip and I have to watch a 1-minute ad to watch said 15-minute clip, I'm not going to watch the clip.
He's on Fox Sports though.
I know, but I'm trying to watch the clips on ESPN, and I'm not doing it. I will find another venue to watch my clips. Okay.
ESPN had a story about it?
Of course they did. So anyway, so Colin Cowherd comes out with his list of quarterbacks that will never win a Super Bowl. And of course, while I saw it on there, they're not capable of winning a Super Bowl. Now, of course, what I obviously was gravitated towards Justin Fields. The only thing I said about that is I understand that Justin Fields might not be the second coming of the quarterback, but to watch what he did last year and say that he will never have a chance of winning a Super Bowl, you have to be one of the stupidest people on earth. And Colin Cowherd, I think that you're getting there with some of your Skip Bayless takes. Either you're just playing for clicks or you just have lost your mind and you're starting early in signs of dementia. Now, however, that wasn't the biggest red flag in there. He also put Dwayne Haskins in there, who, if you don't know, is dead. And not only did he put his name in there, he didn't glance over it. He said his name out loud and continued. And continued. Yeah.
Terrible.
I mean,
terrible. I do not like Colin Cowherd. I think he's like a hot take specialist. I think he's super biased over the West Coast of any sports or anything that he does. The way that he talks about how the best living in the country or in the world is in California. I mean, the
weather is hard to argue with him than that. Everything else, but the weather.
But he's, you know, socially, like he says that California's the best. I don't know. There's a lot of things I'm out on Colin Cowherd on. I think that's just a dumb take. He flip-flops his opinion whenever it becomes convenient for him. As well, I'm out on Colin Cowherd. This is a terrible take. And the fact that you put Dwayne Haskins up there and the fact that you mentioned Dwayne Haskins by name too is absolutely egregious.
Is there any possibility he didn't know he was dead?
100% there's a possibility he didn't know he was dead. Or
then why hasn't there been an apology?
Is that he did to have this moment right here.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody talking about Colin Cowherd.
The Skip Bayless clicks. I don't know. Well, the only thing we got to get to right before we bring in the boys for Gap Wedge Wednesday is the Washington Commanders are in the spotlight once again. Eric Bellamy.
Bieniemy.
Whatever. Bieniemy. BBD, LBV, whatever.
Bieniemy, yeah.
Is being accused by his players of riding them too hard.
Yeah.
Pushing them too hard in order to be excellent.
You're fucking pussies.
You know, really? We're in the NFL. This man is coming on, I don't know, 4 straight AFC championship games? 1, 2 of them? obviously knows his shit, and we're being talked about as far as why is he not being available for a head coach. Now there was some flip flop, I guess, a little bit with some people saying that Ron Rivera didn't have his back. When I listened to him, I didn't see that at all. He pretty much said that, this is how he is. And when I watched Eric's comments on it, he goes, of course, I'm going to demand the best out of my players at every single practice because that's what translates to the field. And he's absolutely right. So, give me a break, bro. Like, it's not like you're out there running suicides for 3 hours in 100-degree heat like we used to have.
You're not
to
doing
do.
Oklahoma drills,
It's
Oklahoma
absolutely ridiculous.
I'll say this. Listen, if you're the Washington Commanders and you've been losers since Doug Williams was your quarterback, all right, maybe it's time for a change. Maybe it's time for you to come out and get challenged. Maybe it's time for you to come out and have somebody hold you to the fire a little bit and keep you accountable, And this whole narrative that he's being too hard, I think it's terrible. Listen, go out there, be as hard as you can on him. First of all, everybody said that you didn't deserve this job. Right. A lot of people were saying that, you're offensive coordinator, that's all you should ever be. You didn't even call plays in Kansas City, whatever. So you're going in there, you're fighting for your freaking life, dude. So I love it. Listen, Eric Bieniemy, go in, continue to be as hard as you can on them. Continue to try to get results. You're playing with a team that nobody expects anything from with Sam Howell at quarterback this year. So you're kind of playing with house money.
I think Ian expects a little something out of him.
Yeah, Ian's in Vegas right now, by the way, which is interesting. I texted with him yesterday asking him how everything was going and how everything was. And he's having a good time. Let's just say that. I understand that. I believe somebody wanted to extend it an extra night. I don't think
that's never happening. A good idea.
This is
never
what he said. He's like I'm ready to get out of here. Basically, this is it. So.
Welcome home, buddy.
If you've been to Vegas, the extending it an extra night is never a good idea unless you're extending the extra night just to sleep and do nothing. You know what I mean? Like if you're just extending the extra night or you're going to see a show, maybe something like that. But dude, I feel like I'm always in Vegas for a day too long, or 2 days too long. There's never a time when I'm, not in Vegas long enough, basically.
Yeah.
My opinion.
The worst one is the red eye flight. I mean, that's just a bad idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially on Mondays, when everybody's just lost everything from the entire weekend and you're, trying to get back. Supposedly Frank works a double today, flying straight back from Vegas into working a double at the old watering. So
interesting.
Shout out to Frank Burgo, one of the hardest working men around. Unlike the man that we have brought in and the boys. Gap Wedge Wednesday starts right now. It's a pleasure to have you boys in. Chad, Paul, how are we doing today? How's everything going?
Oh, well.
I
feel like I just got knocked for not being a hard worker or something.
I mean, you are a hard worker, Chad. I'll say that.
Chad, you definitely have Jeffrey speed down.
Chatty daddy. You do work pretty hard. I will say that. But do you think that Frank works harder than you?
He puts in more hours, but does he work hard when he's there?
You know what? We're not going to do this. We're not going to pit our friends against each other. Paul, I heard that you were at the local watering hole last night, huh? Over at New York Beer Project, right around the corner from the house.
Doing his bourbon flight.
I went and got a sandwich over at a local restaurant last night. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But we're not supposed to name names now. Is that who's listening? The feds,
No.
If so, our numbers should be up.
Anybody can. It's delicious. The place is very good. I mean, no free ads, right?
Just don't get the steak sandwich.
You know what? I 100% understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I got the celebration sandwich. I think it's very good.
What is that?
The slow cooked sous vide beef.
Yeah, I had the jerk chicken sandwich the other day. Really
Hold
good.
on. Can you please let Paul finish? I want to hear what he had.
He just told you.
No, he said that was one aspect of the sandwich.
Yeah, caramelized onions. It's got a garlic aioli and some cheese on it.
Ooh.
Brioche bun. I got it with the sweet potato fries because they serve it with a kind of a sweet dipping sauce, and it's like having your meal and dessert all in one.
My one question: were the sweet potato fries crispy?
They were crispier than you'd normally get.
Okay, it's so tough to get sweet potato fries crispy, like to that point where you want them. And I love them with a little bit of salt because you add the salt in with the sweetness. I just think that sweet potato fries sometimes are absolutely perfect. But
so far, I want to just recap because I love you guys.
Yeah,
we've talked about time in Vegas.
Yeah,
who works harder at the local watering hole? What I had for dinner last night, and how you like your sweet potato fries.
Nothing but content here on the Uninformed Fan.
Did you hear the 3 topics that we had before you guys came on? We talked about Montgomery, Alabama. Okay?
we talked about black-white brawls.
It exists. Folding chairs.
Yeah, we talked about.
It was a big topic.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the Ultimate Warrior. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I mean,
oh wow,
yeah. I mean, we covered a lot here, you know. And the reason why Jeffrey wants you to describe your food is because Jeffrey's a little hungover today, and I'm sure right now his stomach is bubbling and he's looking to savor his palate.
So hungry right now. You have no idea how hungry I am. Yeah.
Well, let's get into it. Take it away, Jeffrey.
So I do want to, first of all, of course, it wouldn't be a Gap Wedge Wednesday without a victory lap. And that being said, congratulations, Lucas Glover brings it home. Correct, Chad?
Yeah.
What do we have the odds on Lucas Glover on there?
They were 80-1.
80-1. And there was a point where you turned to me and you said, "Man, have you seen the top 3 that are there?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And you said, "Lucas Glover, Billy Horschel, and Henley were all 1, 2, 3." So pretty good week for the boys if we're going to just, calculate totals over here. Unbelievable. Still on a phenomenal run. Congratulations to you guys. 80-1. I'm sure there was a bunch of sprinkled in top 10s, top 20s, top 5s as well too. Would I be correct in assuming that, Chad?
Yeah, it was a very good week. Henley and Horschel I had across the board also. So top 5, top 10, top 20. So they cashed all 3 of those, both of them. Glover, obviously, he's a win, so he was big. A few other guys sprinkled in top 10s, top 20s. So it was a pretty good week. Almost up there with the open week, but not quite as good.
Surprised they haven't shut you guys down yet, but that's okay. Coming soon. So that being said, we are officially done with the regular season of golf, and there was no more fitting way for it to end up than what Justin Thomas did on 18 at the Wyndham Championship. Paul, he comes down, hits the drive, yanks it left, hits this unbelievable draw out of the pine straw, and then chips up where it hits the pin and rattles out, and he ends up missing the top 70 by 1 stroke. What were your thoughts on it when you were watching it? Because that was like a Tiger-esque type of a hook that he hit out of that pine straw. What do you think about that, Paul?
Yeah, I think that hole pretty much exemplified Justin Thomas's season.
Yeah,
I think you had some really, really down times. That drive was not good. You had some really remarkable shots, the hook, and then you had some real close calls. He chips, hits the pin, and then falls down and
rolls around like a baby.
Knows he's probably not making the playoffs after that didn't go in. But back he played kind of not a great back 9.
No.
After flirting with the top 10 the entire week.
Mm.
And some other things shook out a little different. Webb Simpson was really a spoiler. I don't know if anybody else played Gap Wedge Wednesday bingo, but Webb Simpson came up on the show. So if you had, put a little sprinkle on him at super long odds, he paid that off with the top 5. So he might have got pushed down to top 6, but he pushed down Adam Scott and Justin Thomas. If not for Webb Simpson jumping up into the that top 5 spot, I think both of those guys actually make the playoff. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it kind of kept us all on our toes as well too. Congratulations to both you guys, obviously, once again, on the incredible hit that we had this week, whether it be Webb Simpson, Russell Henley, obviously Lucas Glover comes in as well too, and then Billy Horschel as well, Billy Beard that we have now as well. Just great job all around. Now, that being said, we are done with the regular season of golf. We are transitioning into the playoffs of golf. Paul, if you want to just give us a breakdown of kind of how things changed a little bit. I know we briefly covered it on last episode, but I did want to point out for those of you who might be casual golf fans who are watching, what's going to happen week to week now. We're starting off with the FedEx St. Jude Championship in Memphis, Tennessee. How does this work in terms of we have a field of 70 players? Is that correct?
Yeah, so the top 70 of the FedEx points list have made the FedEx Cup playoffs. They will play this week, next week, and the following week. This week, the FedEx St. Jude will be 70 players. It's a no-cut event. This basically moves the playoffs up. So in the past, it's been 125 normal cut event with the top 70 in points making it. This year, it's just going to be a 70 no-cut event, and then that'll bring us to next week where the top 50 will make it. So we'll cut
20.
Yeah, and it's not just necessarily the bottom 20 guys of this event. So you don't finish. It's not whoever finishes on the leaderboard in the top 50 this week.
Okay.
So it's about points, and starting with the playoffs, FedEx Cup points count for 4 times the amount. So if an event was giving 500 points for a win, it's going to be 2,000 now.
Let me 1 second here. Yep.
I'm sorry?
Yep. So you're good.
What's going on over there, Tyson?
Nothing. Just double checking that math. That's all.
Okay. Perfect. Yes. Paul's
500 times 4 is 2,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Checked out on my end.
Right
Pretty
on.
simple.
Solid
Right,
work
so-
as always.
We'll lose 20 off the field.
I got that. I had the calculator app open when I did that. So we were good.
Forward to the BMW.
I think I had my abacus for that. Jesus Christ.
Holy smokes.
Obviously, we have a former champ with the FedEx St. Jude and Will Zalatoris, who was not going to be competing this year, as he has missed pretty much the entire year because of injury. That being said, are we looking for, Chad, maybe a similar type as a Will Zalatoris? Or actually, well, you know what? Let me go back to Paul real quick, and then Chad, I'll let you take a few minutes. Paul, go ahead and break down the course and kind of what we have and what we're looking at this week.
So we are at TPC Southwind in Memphis, Tennessee. It is a par 70, 7,243 yards, and the greens are Champion Bermuda grass. They are small. They're 4,300 square feet, and they will be running pretty quickly. Normally fast greens here. And that's going to depend on weather, of course, and everything else. We did the same thing last week with normal fast greens at Wyndham, and then the course was a little soft, and the rain slowed it down a bit. But that place drains great, so they kept the speeds on the green. The one other thing about the course is there are 11 holes with water in play. So another one similar to last week. It's not quite as bad as the Players or the Wyndham and sand. So it's an accuracy course.
So we're talking about an accuracy course here, which Will Zalatoris won last year. Chad, who are we targeting this week? Who do we think is going to come out and perform and really make a push in that, not only top 50, but maybe also possibly maybe a top 5, top 10, and maybe a win this week, Chad?
We're going to be looking for ball strikers.
Yeah, we are.
Last year, Will Zalatoris was one of the best ball strikers on tour. Last year, he just couldn't putt. Still can't. But he was hitting
Maybe
close last year. Yeah, maybe now. Maybe they straighten his back out so he can bend over something better putt. I don't know. But no need to talk about him. Like Paul said, this is a positional course. There's going to be a lot of forced layups on this, kind of like last week, because there's 9 dog legs so that's half the holes are dog legs. So once again, you're going to be placing the ball in the fairway where you want to, and then that way you have a good approach in. You can hit them close. Like last week, going to be pretty much proximity of 150 to 175 is going to be the main approach area. So guys like Cantlay, really good from there. Finau's good from there. So, just going to have guys good proximity from 150 to 175 and sink some putts on fast Bermuda.
Love Paul. Anybody who we're targeting for you, maybe top or middle of the pack?
Yeah, we've narrowed down the list, being that it's 70 players this week instead of the normal either 120 or 144, 156, whatever it is. So your odds this week are going to be a little tighter. Your top three this week are 6 or 6.5, with that being Scheffler, Rory, and Rahm. We don't see any of those three having a distinct advantage over the others. And we're finding value a little further down the board. Chad did mention Cantlay, who's we've seen everywhere from 12 to 20. I'm not sure what our odds are at this moment, but I like Morikawa in that range. As far as form hasn't been wonderful,
Yeah,
but he's exactly the kind of player that you want. If he's dialed in, and not too many guys who can hit the ball better, tee to green.
Chad, anybody who you're targeting as well too?
Yeah, I'm gonna back Cantlay. We got him at 16 right now. He's just a guy that he shows up this time of year. He's one of those clutch guys, and he's performed pretty well on similar courses. Travelers, he was 4th. RBC Heritage, he was 3rd. So it's like he's pretty good positional. Like I said, he's one of the top approach guys from 150 to 175. So, and his accuracy off the tee is getting better. So, I feel like we can back him.
Love that. Any Chad, I'll go right back to you. Any long shots that we like this week that we think might fit the bill, might fit the mold, and have an opportunity to sneak up there and give us some good odds?
Not going full long shot yet, but middle of the pack. We've got a couple guys. Sam Burns, we mentioned him last week. He's a sneaky, under the radar, a par 70 kind of guy.
Yeah,
he plays really well. Last week he cashed us a top 20, so we look at him again at 40 to 1. And a guy that played well here, and last year he played well during the playoffs, is Sepp Straka. He's playing very well right now. He won the John Deere when he shot 23 under in 3 days or something like that to win that, and then he finished second at the Open. Last week we can write that off, or was it 3M we could write off, where we did say something about fading guys that were in the mix at the Open, and he missed the cut his next time out, but I feel like he'll get right back on it again. And then if you're looking for some longer guys from my end, I'm going to go with Brendan Todd. He's a great positional guy. Comp courses, he's finished the last 2 comp courses he played, finished 2nd and 7th, I believe. Another guy I'm looking at is Harris English. He actually has the most strokes gained total at this course of anyone. Granted, he has played here the most, but still has the highest amount of strokes gained total. And Andrew Putnam is my super long shot.
Super long shot. Love that.
Yeah, he's played here the last 3 times he's played here. He's been top 25 every time. And he has a 2nd and a 5th in there, mixed in there. So he's a kind of a horse for course guy. So, I love those.
Chatty Daddy loves his horses for courses, baby. Love that. Paul, anybody we got? What are we thinking about this week? I feel like this is your week to hit. I feel like Chad's been on fire lately. I don't know. Call it just a gut feeling. Paul, I think you're hitting this week. Who do we got?
All right. I don't want to do too much, and I don't think Chad's going to argue about this, but Lucas Glover was mine.
Love that.
Chad had Brian Harmon, no question. And we've been like, I have to say that this season has been the most like collaborative team effort of, and prepping for this show is probably what's helped. So we appreciate the assist on the time and the forced.
You forced us to talk about golf.
We're always here to help. We're always here to help.
We're here, bro.
Yes,
Wait till we get the proxy service booming. It's going to be a freaking movie.
And we only want 25%. I mean, it's not really that much. I mean,
you could have 100% if you just place the bets.
That's
we could go the
very
other
true.
way. Yeah, we could go the other way. We could take a percentage for the tips. In any case. So as far as that goes, Glover's I'm gonna be on Glover again. There isn't a guy. Yeah, over the course of the last 24, 12, 8, and 4 rounds, he's either second or first in ball striking in the field.
Wow.
So there isn't a guy playing tee to green better, really. He's doing it's Scotty Scheffler. And Scotty, over the course of the last 8 rounds, is third, and over the course of the last 4 is seventh. So he's actually trending better than Scheffler. That happens when you win. And strokes gained is also a stat where it just so happens that he did well last week, so they're going to be inflated over the last 4 rounds. But it's him and Scotty, 1 and 2, and you're getting him somewhere in the, again, 80 range, whereas you're paying 6-1 on Scheffler, and one of them has won in the last 2 weeks.
Great story, man.
If you look at Glover,
Glover's
last 5 is win, missed cut, 5, 6, and 4.
it's interesting that you put him up there again, because I remember earlier in different segments we talked about how hard it is for the back-to-back win. And
but you also got to look at the type of person. He's a 43-year-old man with children and a wife. He's not going to go out there party because he won like someone else might, And you look at like a couple of guys that have done it before. Brendan Todd, he's gone back to back. He's another older guy,
Not to say that it can't happen, but as you pointed out, it's very, very, very difficult for it to happen. Correct?
It is, but at 80-1, you just go across the board again.
Not
top
knocking
5,
the pick.
top 10, top 20, still profit. So.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I was just trying to point out something. My bad.
No, you're not. You're not wrong, Tyson. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You know what? I'm just gonna exit stage left.
You're so sensitive. God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Did you eat a Justin Thomas bagel?
Yeah,
Is
got
it
wheels on there.
a bad burrito? Bad burrito by Justin Thomas. All right, so we got Lucas Glover. Obviously, you like Morikawa. Chad, who did you? I'm sorry, I'm still a little hungover.
Don't get flustered. I'm gonna say Hideki also.
Hideki
has a very good record here. He hits the ball well, tee to green. He's a great ball striker, and he's been playing kind of under the radar, like Chad mentioned about Sam Burns. I think if we're gonna, we're in a playoff event. The cream does rise to the top in these things, and so you want some of the best guys in the world. Nobody's going to be shocked if any of those top 3 guys are going to play well and take one home. Everybody's talking about Rahm. Everybody in the industry thinks Rahm is winning this one. But
speaking of cream, and coming to the top, one guy who I don't know why, but I really like this week, I think is Max Homa. I think Max Homa has a chance to, you talk about ball striking, putting, tee to green. I don't know why, but for some reason he stands out to me this week. I think he has a chance to perform well. Any thoughts on Max Homa this week?
Sure. Chad, you want to start?
I got to find him.
Okay.
Wow.
I'll jump in. In the last 12 rounds in the field, he's 26th in ball striking.
Okay.
19th in the last 8 and 11th in the last 4, so trending in the right direction. Over the course of the last, let's see, on our large mixed condition model, Homa is
Large mixed condition model.
he's 24th ranked in the field on ours. Things he does not necessarily do great as compared to the field. Our par fours from 400 to 450. We got like 6 of those this week.
Okay.
Par 4 scoring is 42nd. His putting over the course of the last 12 rounds is 41st.
He's more of a
this
par
isn't-
72 guy. He needs the distance off the tee. Like, that's the thing. He's more of a driver off the tee kind of guy than positional.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to win places like Wells Fargo that he has.
Exactly.
He doesn't gain strokes by position.
Yeah, you're going to want him as far as like what majors do. He just made his first top 10 in a major. But you're going to want him at kind of a longer par 72 course if you're going to back him. I would say going forward.
He's won
Sony
twice.
or
He's
Sony
won
par
twice
70.
at Quail Hollow. He's won twice at Fortinet, both par 72s. I don't think he's a Bermuda guy either.
He's a California kid.
Yeah. More of a Poa.
I'm riding
Poa
Max
advance.
Homa this week. I don't know. I feel like Memphis, Tennessee is his place to get back. We'll see what happens. I love that. Any other thoughts we got, guys, on the tournament this week or golf in general?
Golf in general, huh? I don't know.
I mean, you had Bryson DeChambeau shooting 58. You know, he's got this new driver.
Oh, now he's on the Ryder Cup. Oh God.
I mean, I just said
Neither one of them should make it.
Who?
Bryson or JT.
Bryson or JT,
Neither
yeah.
one of them should be on the Ryder Cup.
I don't think either is going.
Would
to.
you rather have, all right, going into a final match on Sunday, right? U.S. is down 3 points. Would you rather have Keegan Bradley going or Justin Thomas going?
Keegan
Bradley.
I don't know if you've watched golf lately.
Justin Thomas is terrible.
Good match
I just
play player,
disagree.
too.
Justin
Is he?
Thomas.
Like,
Yeah.
JT to me is just like fiery. Like, I don't know. I want fire, bro. I
You
want.
could sit there and
You
fucking.
can be
rah-rah,
fire and
boom,
still
boom.
suck.
Yay! Every time you make a putt, be fiery, and then wait, you got to make the fucking putt first.
I've seen
I'll tell
Jeffrey.
you.
I've seen Jeffrey make a birdie, get fiery, then put up a 9.
Exactly. That's exactly what JT did. He eagled to get in the top 70, and then he choked.
Chad witnessed something incredible.
Okay, let's talk about. You know what? Golf in general, I got something. So me and Jeremy went and played last week, right? I watched the most unbelievable putt I've ever seen in my life. This guy, Jeffrey Schneider, had a 2-foot birdie putt. I'm sorry, a 2-foot birdie putt. He hit it a foot.
Yeah.
To miss.
I don't even know if
That's 2 feet.
the ball oscillated an entire roll. Honestly, it was pretty incredible. But here we are. What are you gonna do?
That's
And
a
this
Jeffrey.
is why this guy has 41 putts in a round.
I had 38 when we played. I shot 85. Terrible.
I really could have been 37.
He's a golfer.
What do you think about Patriots training camp? We are going to dive into football on Friday. Very hard over here on the Uninformed Fan. Paul, Patriots training camp. What are we looking at? I understand it's a Zappy and Mac Jones controversy. I think this is just something that Bill Belichick is kind of making up. Mac Jones obviously going to take that role, right?
I don't know if anything's obvious with Bill Belichick. And until we go to week 1 and everything's speculation with them, for however many years I've been, since 1985, I guess, I've been watching the Patriots regularly.
Really, that's the year that they lost to the Bears in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's why he didn't want to include that one.
that's no.
That's the only thing I remember.
I included it specifically.
It's the year I was born.
Those
Good for you.
those Super Bowl commercials were like great that year.
Super
to be
Bowl
honest.
Shuffle, baby. That was the best time in NFL sports when the Bears were on top. Peyton, McMahon, Singletary, the Fridge. Watching the Fridge do the Super Bowl Shuffle. Come on, baby. Ain't no times better than that in football.
I can think of a few.
Yeah,
So
me too.
yeah, Paul, go ahead. Finish your
Like the last
thought
20
here.
years was decent. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Keep in mind,
Not
I can
bad.
cut this broadcast at any time.
It doesn't matter. We're gonna ride it until we can't anymore, until the wheels fall off.
I brought up 85 just for you.
Yeah, he literally put it on a tee for you and let you go ahead and, bat.
Go ahead.
So we're thinking Mac Jones or Zappy. What do you think?
I'd rather Zappy.
Yeah.
I'd rather a traffic cone. I'd like the Patriots not to win a game so they can be
I hope
in the
the Patriots-
sweepstakes for a real quarterback.
I hope the Patriots
There
forfeit the
you
whole
go.
season.
It's a tough one. I don't
One
know.
thing we do know about Belichick, he's not going to pay for a running back. He made that clear.
In this,
He's gonna ride Ramondre into the ground this year.
Oh, he's
In
signed
the-
for another year. Kill him.
Poor guy.
in this division, I don't think it makes sense to win a game.
Yeah,
He
it's
doesn't.
tough. You definitely have the toughest division in football, without not even a question, the toughest division in football.
I do think the Jets are going to win it, though.
I am
Division?
completely out on the Jets, personally.
Okay. All right. Well,
I am all in on the Dolphins, but I am
Gonna be-
completely,
okay.
I'm going to be more on the Dolphins if they sign Dalvin Cook too, because I think Dalvin Cook is a game changer for them.
Because you're a
Well, he might go to
homer.
The Jets.
Florida State.
Yeah,
State.
that's the only reason why.
I mean,
He's just
what?
such a homer. He can't even hide
Has
it,
been-
dude. He's
Guy's
so
been like a top 5
biased.
running back in the
He's
NFL. his
so
entire career.
biased, dude. So
He's
biased.
from South Florida. You
So is 5 other people.
into the Dolphins organization.
If the Dolphins
every
get
running back is
Jameis
from South
Winston
Florida, so
Ooh.
to back up,
Uh,
think
Ju-
he's gonna have a great year.
Justin Fields had
Jameis
more
Winston-
yards.
and
They
Jameis
just
Winston
to back up Mike White.
They
Okay.
just signed Kelvin Benjamin.
I'm gonna look up his stats right now.
So speaking of wide receivers looking pretty good, I did see that Trayvon Diggs has caught more interceptions than Dak's thrown touchdown passes in training
Oh,
camp
boy.
this year, Chad. So what are your thoughts on how they
Did you speak about your Baker Mayfield MVP?
Yeah,
today?
we're gonna go ahead and cut this off right
You're
then
gonna
and
start
there,
talking about
and then
quarterbacks. You're in a good spot, bud.
I'll tell you, Chad, Paul, if you guys want to dial in on Friday, talk a little football with the boys, we can break down the teams. I'm going to stop it before we end up with the Montgomery, Alabama scenario here today, where everybody starts mob mentality and attacking everybody on the program. But, boys, thanks again for your wonderful golf picks. Once again, hitting every week. Every week. If you're following these guys, you're making money. If you're not following these guys, what the hell are you doing? But anyway, most knowledgeable people I know about there as far as golf picks, golf handicapping, golf fantasy sports, daily, whatever you want to talk about golf, hit them up on their Twitter. Follow them back. Follow their advice. Thank you, boys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you. See you next time.
Absolutely.
Talk to you later, John.
see you next time?
See you guys.
Oh, my God.
You a cunt.
I was not going to let you go in on the Cowboys because we would have been here all day. We would have been here all day.
We'll lose half our viewership too. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, Buff, that one's for you too, buddy. I appreciate you out there. So, with that being said, that is going to do it for today's show. However, Friday, we will be back. We're going to break down football. We're going to break down the divisions. We're going to look at season win totals. And if we have time, we're going to go ahead and start to touch on fantasy drafts, who we're going to be targeting, what positions, what teams, and where we're going to end up as far as the outlook for this year's 2023 season. So make sure that you guys all tune in for that. I do believe we do not have F1 back for 2 more weeks. It's just a sad time. I watched the Nashville IndyCar the other. Oh my God, dude.
Can't watch Max Verstappen just go in circles and win. Sorry, guys.
Well, it's not really circles. Yes, we're off for a couple more weeks here. We don't have we don't have F1 till the end of August, so we'll be obviously well into football there. Preseason starts on Thursday. Make sure that you tune into your favorite teams. When do the Bucks play, Jeffrey?
Friday, Steelers.
Oh, they're at home. At home. I did sell my tickets for that one.
Good
I'll
for
tell
you
you,
getting rid of them.
I might end up going to the Week 3 game though.
Why don't you go to the Week 2 game when Trask is going to start?
Because it's an away game. Yeah. But the Week 3 game is their home against the Ravens. And I'm assuming after Baker Mayfield's performance Week 1 and Kyle Trask's performance Week 2, then I'll probably see Kyle Trask
Kyle
again.
Trask, baby. Hey, listen, I'm rooting hard for Kyle Trask. The one thing that they're saying about Trask is that he's just minimizing turnovers, and he's kind of just, if it's not there, he's tucking it and he's running.
Correct,
get
but
3 or 4 yards and call it a day. I love that, Kyle. Keep
But-
that up, bro. This is what we need as a football team. I'm telling you right now, if we can do that and not turn the ball over, we will win this division this year without a doubt, bro. We have the best roster in the division.
But as they're saying, the only knock with that is he's not taking any chances. That's all. I watched a report this morning on. Well, I mean, at some point you got to throw the ball where only Mike Evans can get it, right? I mean, that's taking a chance, because if you miss that one spot, it could be a turnover. But you have to be able to put that ball where Mike Evans can only get it, and to me, that's taking the chance. So that's taking a chance on yourself to make sure that, and let's be honest, with the NFL, with proper coverages and the way that defensive coordinators scheme, once they pick up the schemes or what's going on, those are the only times that you might be able to get some of those chunk plays that you need or something else, especially when the defense is reading you. So that's the only thing. I mean, I'm happy with what I'm hearing. It amazed me. I heard that it was up to 9 turnovers by Baker Mayfield so far to Trask's 1. So I was a little surprised that he's getting the week 1 nod, to be perfectly honest with you. The Bucks they're definitely got the veil down. They're not letting anybody get it. On the official depth chart, it says Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to me, and this is the only thing that I didn't really like about it is, again, we talked about this. I'm sure we're going to talk about it on Friday. Is Baker Mayfield came in with the expectation that he was QB1. And then I see the reports that come out, it says, even if Kyle Trask wins, or even if Baker Mayfield wins, the Bucks still aren't going to do anything, and the Bucks have not planned for a future beyond Tom Brady, and they will be affected for it. And so, to me, I have to agree with that.
I don't understand that. I don't understand.
I do. I understand.
What do you mean? So when you say the Bucks have not planned for a future outside of Tom Brady, what does that exactly mean?
That means that. I mean, are we gonna? Usually after you propose something like that, the person rebuttals with their answer.
My opinion is that the Bucks have stayed pat. The Bucks have said we have a phenomenal roster. We have one of the best rosters in the NFL.
We're not talking. See, this is where let me finish. We're not talking about the roster. We're talking about the QB position. And they didn't plan after without Tom Brady. And the reason why I feel like we're even having this
we have a new OC anyway. We're not running the same offense we were with Tom Brady.
It doesn't matter. The fact is you had nobody on the roster that you felt comfortable even giving a shot to.
They gave Kyle Trask a shot. What do you mean? They're giving Kyle Trask a shot.
This is his 3rd year in the league?
Yes.
Okay. 3rd year in the league, has never seen first team reps until this year.
He played the Falcons game.
With all backup players. Mike Evans wasn't in there. Chris Godwin wasn't in there. Ryan Jensen wasn't in there. Lenny Fournette wasn't in there.
Lenny Fournette was a shell of himself last year.
Doesn't matter. You get my point. My point is that Tom Brady had such a control over the offense, which is rightfully so. I mean, the guy's one of the best, if the best, greatest quarterback of all time, that nobody else got first team reps. And then you had Blaine Gabbert, which was obviously, his guy or whatever you want to call it. I just don't feel like there was any mentorship. And maybe there was behind the scenes, but if there was mentorship, it was coming from Blaine Gabbert. And,
Tom was not there to mentor.
No,
wasn't there to mentor.
And that's what I think that the reports are accurate in saying that the Bucks did no quarterback plans outside of Tom Brady. Because if you did have a quarterback plan outside of Tom Brady, when you do it, you sure as shit went and signed Baker Mayfield. I mean that's just obvious. Even if it wasn't Kyle Trask, you would have known that coming on, and you could have pursued one of the better free agents. You know what I mean, or something of that nature. Hey, I don't know, bro.
Derek Carr. I'm good on Derek Carr.
Derek Carr's better than Baker Mayfield, and probably better than Kyle Trask.
Do you think Derek Carr is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL?
No, but I'm saying
There's about 20 to 25 quarterbacks I would rather have than Derek Carr in the NFL.
Well, then, would you rather have Derek Carr or Baker Mayfield?
Derek Carr.
Would you rather have Derek Carr or Kyle Trask?
That's a tough one because I haven't been able to see what Kyle Trask has done.
All I'm saying is even that signing would have bridged a gap to wherever you could have either drafted a better quarterback and actually.
What do you mean? They gave Derek Carr $50 million a year.
Just numbers, bro.
How is that a bridge gap? That's an all-in proposal and commitment.
That's what a mediocre quarterback's getting.
A mediocre quarterback is not getting $50 million a year.
35.
Daniel Jones is getting 40.
Oh, there you go. $10 million. What's $10 million? Like, they can't just move some stuff around.
Right, yeah, whatever.
They can figure. You know what I'm saying, and I know what you're saying. All I'm saying is there is some validity to that report. And to me, it should have especially been last year. If you had I just don't understand the development behind Kyle Trask. That's all. There should be no way that somebody goes into their 4th year and you have no fucking idea whether or not the kid can play. That's all I'm saying.
I think all these Bucks takes are bullshit from people who don't know what they're talking about. So you're telling me that the Bucks have literally drafted. Not you.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. I agreed with that report. So
everybody else who's like, oh, under 6.5 wins guaranteed for Tampa Bay. Like, are you kidding me? Like, we have done nothing but draft defense for the past few drafts in the first round, right? So you're talking about it's going to be a great defensive line. We have Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, who re-signed with us as well too. You still have Antoine Winfield in the back end. You still have Devin White, you still have Levante David, one of the best linebackers in the NFL. That defense is going to be legit. Then you're going to talk about offense, right? Now you're getting back a Ryan Jensen. Now you're moving Tristan Wirfs back to his natural position to be able to protect the quarterback. Now you're going to add in, Rashad White on his 2nd year. We have this kid, Trey Palmer, who just came out of LSU, who is a stud, who's been making catches all over training camp as well. So I think when we factor in all these things,
they have all of the pieces.
They have all the pieces to do
except
it.
for a quarterback. Which
it.
is the most important position in the NFL.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that their demise to me is if you're telling me that like Jameis is going to throw 30 interceptions this year, as a Bucks fan, we still won 8 games that year. Like we were not that far off that year.
I think actually
8 turnovers would be fine.
And I think that's to your argument, to your point, that is correct. That maybe you don't need to make those plays. Maybe you don't need to do that. Maybe you just minimize the turnovers. Depend on your defense and let Kyle Trask get comfortable, because there's nothing. I'm telling you, once this thing gets going, and if Kyle Trask gets comfortable, we've all seen what he can do. And okay, you can say college, whatever, but still the SEC, still one of the most powerhouses, atmosphere, whatever. We've seen what he can do. If that translates at least 70% over with that roster, to your point, they're going to be absolutely great. So, just to wrap it up, this is what we're going to dig into on Friday, guys. This is what Football Friday is going to be like. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on. So make sure that you tune in on Friday. We'll be back at 11 o'clock. And
these guys start school on Thursday too, so they are excited to get back into school, aren't you? You start school tomorrow? No, you don't want to go back to school? Why not? Okay.
Well, anyway. School's back. That means Jeffrey's off the hook.
And that means you're going to be pissed off every day that I talk to you. So
Yep. I'm going to be out there in my camcorder videoing all the stupid cars and everything in my neighborhood. Can't wait to do it. Everybody, have a great week. We'll see you on Friday. We're going to break down a little football. Keep playing. We'll talk.